ACC and Florida State and Clemson universities reportedly have a settlement in the legal fight over the two schools' moves to leave the conference. And this agreement changes how the league distributes money from its media deal with ESPN, now incorporating viewership ratings. And that would pay more to schools, pulling in more viewers to their games. But according to the Associated Press, one source says the change could lose some schools up to $7 million. And schools signed that agreement ahead of 2019, allowing the ACC to control their media rights, and it puts schools at risk of facing hundreds of millions of dollars in charges if they left the conference before the agreement was up. Trustees at both universities and the ACC directors will meet separately tomorrow to discuss the approval of this settlement. Chief Legal Analyst Kali Frodes is here now. And Kali, do the media changes here affect some of the other schools here negatively and also put them more at legal risk here for the ACC?
I think all of these changes affect all the other institutions, but the ACC had its back up against the wall. Clemson and Florida State, they were trying to leave. And why were they trying to leave? The ACC was behind the Big Ten. They were behind the SEC. They were only in front of the Big 12. And so because of that, I'm talking about in the revenue dollars. Because of that, because of their deal, the length of the deal, not expiring until 2036, these teams were trying to make a mass exodus to look for more lucrative deals so that they could be in front of a couple of things. Be in front of NIL, be in front of paying players on a more frequent basis, be in front of revenue sharing at a higher clip so that you're able to bring some of that and be able to distribute it within your institution into some of your other sports. And so trying to do that, yes, those schools were trying to leave. ACC had their back against the wall, and they were trying to figure it out. And that's kind of what sparked some of these lawsuits. And in the end of the day, everyone will never be happy with a negotiation. Sometimes you will get parts and bits and pieces of what you want, and sometimes you'll lose and have to concede in other places. And that's what you'll see here. You mentioned a couple of things. Revenue distribution changes. That's something that they need to have happen. Resolution on lawsuits that gets rid of the lawsuits. Exit cost clarifications. That's probably the biggest thing, because when the Clemson attempted to leave in Florida State, the ACC hit them back with saying, wait, you guys can leave, but we have the rights to your distribution deals through 2036. And they were all saying, well, hey, if we're no longer here, you don't have the rights, and we're not paying an exit fee or some type of penalty. So they're trying to get clarification on that, and all of these things are pending. We can talk about what a settlement looks like. We can talk about this proposal, but until it's settled and voted on by the Board of Governors, none of this really matters. But we're way closer now than we ever were.
Yeah, and they're going to talk about it tomorrow, but like Boston College or Wake Forest, schools, especially like Boston College, they could be fighting this because if they lose money out of this deal.
They can, but there's things I think baked into this deal that helps you. One of the things is if you're successful in the postseason, you're able to keep some of this money. The other portion of you're only paying 60% of the earnings go to the pot. 40% go to the schools. I should say the other way around. 60% go to schools, 40% go to the pot, so that all other institutions are able to reap some of the benefits of what the whole are able to bring. But I think the biggest thing that all these other schools are saying is, look at Clemson. They made it to the college football playoffs. They were able to keep $4 million of their revenue for their own because of they were incentivized, were playing better. Boston College and any of these other smaller schools, I think the ACC and the NCAA, for better part, is saying, if you play well on the field, if you play well on the court, this will end up being better for your institution.
All right, we're going to follow that meeting tomorrow and see what happens out of that if they approve all of that. Chief Legal Analyst Kali Frodes, thanks.